I'm actually with Basketball Network, and I'm joined today by the assistant coach of the Detroit Pistons, Mr. Kevin Burleson. Thank you so much for taking time today to talk with us.
No problem.
The main question I was going to ask you was, obviously your team, Detroit Pistons, had a pretty surprising great season. As someone who's on the staff and is known for developing players and being heavy into the development of the younger players, how did you balance the season, kind of balancing great team success and then developing the young guys? Because, between Cade and all the rookies and second-year players, it was kind of maybe you had to shift toward one direction. Will we play the vets more or maybe play the young guys more? So what was kind of your mentality in this season?
Well, yeah, starting with our coach, Jerry Bickerstaff, he told us at the beginning of the season that was going to be something we had to balance. We had a lot of young group, we had some rookies obviously too, like Ron Holland, guys like that we're going to have to develop throughout the season. And our first thing was we wanted to build a culture and see what happens after that. And as the season progressed and we started to see that we were a team that could compete with a lot of teams and get a chance to actually do something, then we started to shift our perspective as far as we're still going to develop our guys and pour into them, but we have a chance to win, and especially for the city. So some of our vets going to have to play some heavy minutes. So I think a lot of it was we're still playing some of our young guys, but a lot of the development is going to be practice, post-practice, because when you're winning, you got to keep winning. You got to figure out that, and our vets are doing a good job of that.
Yeah, obviously the young guys seeing vets like Dennis Schroeder, Tobias Harris, those are guys that have been in the league a long time, especially Ron Holland. Like I said, he's going to benefit from his experience in the following years greatly. Second thing I wanted to ask you, you yourself were a pretty good basketball player. You had one season in the NBA with the Charlotte Bobcats, if I'm correct. I was kind
a long time ago.
But you also played a lot overseas in Europe and all over the world. I was kind of interested, times have changed a lot. Mm-hmm. The overseas game has much more respect now. Do you see maybe in the last 10, 15 years how much the gap between overseas players and American players, has it really kind of narrowed down? Is it the same, or do you think like there's still a step to go up so the American players and the European players, let's say, are on the same level?
Well, yeah, I was just talking to somebody about that. I think when I first was playing overseas, I remember a lot of times I would teach some of the European players certain moves and things like that. And now you see a lot of American players trying to get some of the European moves. How do you do the Euro? How do you do this? How do you do slow steps? So there's a lot of things that are meshing together. Mm-hmm. And I think some of these great players like Luka Doncic and even like Dirk that paved the way, a lot of these great European players that gave European players confidence in knowing that they can compete at that level. So I think the gap is actually closing. You can see the best players in the world, a lot of them are European now. Yeah. But I still think we have Americans, we have a great group of guys, young guys coming up, and, but it's close for sure. So we just got to keep competing, keep getting better.
Yeah, the best example was probably the Olympics. A great USA team, but they had to battle teams like Serbia, Canada, Australia. So.
Right.
Another question, kind of, as you are really heavy into player development, now seeing here in Treviso, seeing the kind of young players from all over the world, what is something, kind of the number one lesson you try to emphasize in this weekend? What is the main philosophy you try to teach younger players?
Well, I know it's kind of cliche, and if you look at the playoffs, a lot of games are won by the little tiny details, and some players are going to get, draft workouts, and they'll get tryouts, or they might even get drafted. And what separates them is being really good at tiny details. So I want to emphasize to these guys, you got to make shots, you got to be able to dribble, pass, and do all the basic stuff. But the details like rebounding and defending, and rotations, and all that small stuff, you're really, really, really good at that. You can separate yourself from somebody else. So I want to make sure they understand that. So when they do get that shot, they'll get the opportunity to be good.
Yeah, because everybody wants to be a 20 per night scorer, not everybody wants to do dirty work, but that actually kind of earns you a spot in the big league.
Look at Josh Hart. Josh Hart's the prime example. I don't know if he's a 20-point scorer anywhere in the league, any league. I don't know, but he's a really, really, really good player.
He's a winner.
Yeah.
When a team like that, when you have Burelson, Cat doing all the kind of scoring, having a guy like Hart just rebound assists, steals, whatever the team needs. And those glue guys are kind of getting more recognition in these days, so that's
and
great.
They get money too.
And they get money.
And bad too. They getting some big money. That's what I want to tell these young guys. Don't be afraid to be a glue guy. You can get 80, 90, 100 million.
Yeah, times have changed.
Times have changed, bro.
That's a great lesson. I think a lot of these young prospects will take that, to the bank and they'll kind of rely on that in the next years. Mr. Burleson, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for these thoughtful answers, and I hope you have a nice time here in Italy and spread your knowledge to the next generation.
I definitely will. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys.